Hello and welcome to Sidequest. This is our weekly video game show here at Geekverse. I'm your host, Dylan Musk, and I have with me the Ghost of Rutland, Travis Snell. Great name. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. It feels like it's been a minute since I've been on SideQuest because I can't remember why. Oh, wrestling, and then other times didn't line up and stuff. But excited, we got some good stuff to talk about today. So I'm excited to be back on the SQ. So
Yeah, we kind of got a mixed match of topics. We'll do a little check-in on the video game draft, talk about our Switch 2 pre-orders, how that went, and then a couple trailers for some games, Star Wars and Ghost of Yotei, and then just some games we've been playing as well. So a little bit of everything. If you're a fan of Last of Us, the video game, go check out our weekly reviews for that. If you're a fan of Star Wars, tune into this episode. Go check out the Andor releases. Thunderbolts review coming out this week for the hot new Marvel movie.
that's crazy. Yeah, doesn't feel like that at all.
Yeah, quickly. And then we also have a Weekly Geek, talking about, I don't even know what. We'll find out on Wednesday. So
We're talking about a Rock trailer this week with Dwayne, so you got that.
Okay,
his A24 movie, So
well, there you go. Now I'm actually excited for that.
Safdie brother.
Yes,
Again,
okay.
Nathan
Very good
Fielder
connection of what we were just
Yeah.
talking about right before recording here with the curse. But yeah.
There's somebody that they got to get on like Nathan for your rehearsal. I need The Rock one episode. I need to see Dwayne Johnson and Nathan Fielder interact. Don't know what it is. Let Nathan figure it out. And I don't even know if I want Rock to be in on the joke, but I want Nathan to interact with Dwayne Johnson at some point. And we're that much closer with Benny because he was in the curse, right? So fingers crossed that happens.
I feel like Dwayne could be a socially awkward person in real life.
But
so
like
mixing
Nathan.
them together, I'm curious to see how if it would multiply or just like go into the negatives of awkwardness.
Yeah, which is I feel like Nathan would be just like drooling over, right? Because I feel like more awkward the better for that show. I feel like when he knows, like, last episode with that couple, when it's awkward and it's really awkward, I think he just knows like, oh, this is great TV because people are gonna feel it at home. But that's for another time. Go watch the rehearsal. Crave HBO
Yeah, I'm
Max.
sure me and you will do, I don't know, on a newscast, or maybe we'll do like a season review or something afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't know how much there's to say about it, but we'll figure that out at a later date. But that's what's going on the feeds. You can also hit up our Patreon to get episodes early and ad-free. Join our Discord to talk with us all about all sorts of stuff, leave a review, all that good stuff. Let's get into the first thing here. So last week, the Switch 2 pre-orders went live in a very staggered series of steps, I'll say, where like some places like Walmart, whatever, had it like the night before. Other places were the morning after, and then you had to be careful of like, oh, are you Eastern time, Western time? And then I'm sure it's different all over the world. And then like Nintendo's store still doesn't even go up until like next week or something like that. But Travis, give me a rundown of how your experience went trying to get your hands on one of these things.
Yeah, so I think the last episode I was on was the Switch 2 conversation, and I said, I'm not getting a Switch. Well, I have a Switch, at least Switch 2 pre-ordered, and it's all confirmation email. There's like there's a few things that happen. There was an inch of FOMO, as always, right? But then the other thing was, I had said to the Discord people, that's why I joined the Discord, we talk about a whole bunch of stuff. I originally had a trip planned in October to the States. I was going to go see Dua Lipa, but for just X, Y, and Z, maybe a bread and butter topic. Other times, just don't feel like going to the States right now. I have many people in the States. I love many, listeners, many friends. I just don't want to cross that border right now. So for me, there's a lot of like freed up money, and there's other things where, Emily's been kind of shouldn't play some Mario. Like, she's excited about the Mario Kart, but there's that. As I said last cast, like, okay, we can kind of, all their birthdays are in the summer for the three oldest. They're playing the Switch. It's like, well, we can use this as like a double of the present. And, because now we got the Switch 1 and Switch 2. And also, I felt it was just fate. Because how my day was, I did not here's to give the example. Maybe their site could have crashed. So I got mine from Best Buy. Best Buy was supposedly live at 6 a.m. PST. I went on at 9 PST and still got one. Now, maybe those first few hours, Best Buy was crashed, so maybe it didn't actually start till later. But what happened was, Taylor said, oh, I'm in the GameStop line. I'm trying, and because I had seen somewhere else the same thing as you, or I just seen the 6 a.m. one, so I thought, oh, it's 6 a.m. like I think you missed it. And then I went on like where are the pre-orders, and there's everywhere where, like you said, Walmart and Costco, they had theirs Wednesday night, and then there's all over of GameStop, London Drugs, like just like here's it noon Eastern. Here's at 9 Eastern. So I saw GameStop and Best Buy. When I clicked on GameStop, I got the same thing Taylor did. Mine was just more out of curiosity because I was like, okay, I'm sure I'll be on Sidequest soon. I'm going to click on it. Because when I legitimately woke up today, it was not an intention to buy it. I had no, like, oh, I'm getting in line. Like, I had no idea until Taylor's like, oh, I'm hit the GameSpot and it's crashed. So I clicked on it. Same thing with him, 4 hours. And when I clicked on the Best Buy one, it put me in a queue right away. And I was like, okay, that seems kind of odd. Like, this has been live for 3 hours. So I'm sure it's just going to be a queue that chucks me into like a sorry, we're sold out. It didn't.
Yeah.
There was one sin right there. So I'm like, okay, like I guess I should just put this bundle in the cart just to see, because it's a pre-order, right? I can always cancel it. So I get the bundle one, I put that in there, and then when you go to pay, there's another queue you got to go in. So I'm like, there's
really?
Yeah, so there's double queues, queue to get it and then queue to pay. And I'm like, once I saw the second queue, I'm like, no, like this is like, there's no way I'm getting this. And even in the line, I was in there probably about 45, like probably in general over 2 hours, but for the pay queue, like 45 minutes. So once I hit like half an hour, there's no way this is probably happening. And then I get a notification update says the Nintendo Switch 2 is sold out, but the Mario Kart bundle is still available. So I was like, okay. So again, I'm going, by the time I get to the cart, it's going to be gone. It was fun just to click on it, see. And I went to the cart and I purchased it, and I guess I got a Switch too. Like, it was kind of like more, I just wanted to see what the demand was. And of course, Taylor, when he got online, he got the notification of, oh, both bundles were gone. So I was a little ahead of him because he wanted to go, he didn't click on Best Buy. This was his rookie mistake. He didn't click on Best Buy until his GameStop thing was gone. And I said, I don't
Yeah,
I
you
don't
got to
think
open all of them at the same time and then refresh constantly.
But he wants
your
trade-in
PS5 was through Best Buy as well, right?
Yes, so Best Buy has been pretty good to me. Yeah, so, and I think it's because it's like Amazon, where it is one of the bigger suppliers. Like, I know stores, they've got rid of a lot of digital stuff, but Best Buy is still a pretty big chain, especially here in Canada at least, right? Like, we have no Future Shop, and that was gone. And then I got it, and then me and Emily talked it over, and we're like, okay, I think we're gonna keep this thing for X, Y, and Z. She's excited for Kart. I'm excited for Donkey Kong. It's gonna be like a double for us and kids' birthday present. And like I said, a lot of change that was being saved for the trip. It's like, and this costs a lot less than the trip. So yeah, I kind of backwards stumbled into it. And when I have obviously listened to other podcasts, and one of the podcasts that kind of funny I'm subscribed to, I listen on and off, but I got the notification like Switch pre-sale disaster. And I saw many people say that. It was for me. I clicked on the Best Buy link, sat around for a little bit, and then I just win the card. The same thing happened to me with the PS5. Of these console launches for me have always been very easy somehow. I don't know how the luck I got. So that, to me, I just took it as fate, and I was like, okay, well, Donkey Kong's also there.
Yeah.
So that's where I cemented it. So yes, now I'm on the Switch 2 bandwagon like
Very
you guys.
good.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think with the PS5, I didn't have much issue getting it either through Best Buy on the pre-order. And I don't remember doing anything particularly special. Just like had like whatever, all the 3 or 4 sites opened. And then Best Buy was the one that worked for me. And then I ended up canceling it before it like actually came out because I decided, I'm just going to wait anyway. But yeah, with the Switch 2, very different story for me. So the morning that the pre-orders went live, well, actually the night before, even at 9 p.m., it was like 9:30, and I was like, oh, I totally forgot about that. I'm going to go see what's going on. Went on Reddit, looked around a little bit, and like went on all the sites, and was like, sold out. Everyone's like, oh, these things are all gone already. Look at that. Who would have thought? I didn't really click around that much. I just assumed, oh, okay, I guess I missed my chance. Whatever. I'll try again, because I signed up for the Nintendo thing, so I was going to get that email from them in like May, whatever it is. And then the morning after, I was in the office that day, so I couldn't, be on the sites doing all that stuff. So I was like, I'm just going to miss this. That's fine. Hopefully the Nintendo one can back me up. But then, like, freaking Gandalf coming from the east, Saturday morning, Taylor messages me, and he's like, hey, I got this email from Amazon because I signed up for their wait list. So I have 72 hours to place an order, and there's no issue with that. So I send all my credit card details over to Taylor Field. He made the purchase for me. Send it
that
to
could
my
have been a
address
Geek
and all
First
that.
ending event, though, just to let everyone know. If Taylor Field wasn't a trusted friend, that could have been the end as you know it for Geek First. But
yeah, and so Taylor, he shared his story last week, so he was able to get one as well. So, the 3 of us will have it. So hopefully we can get them like pretty close to June 5th, and then we can get a Sidequest episode out there really quick. Mine said it's not shipping until the 9th, so I guess it's going to be like 4 days later. We'll see if that's actually true or if they update that later on. If I have to wait a few days, it's not the end of the world. But I don't know. Did yours say what day it's shipping yet?
I don't think so. I can take a look and see because I got the.
Because we're all, I guess, with different. We all got it from like different suppliers, I guess. We'll see. We'll have to have a race, see where it comes
Yeah.
to quickest.
Let's see. I don't think it has that yet because I tried to check because it took a while. That's where I was worried because I didn't get like a confirmation email for a couple hours from Best Buy. I got the
Mm,
pay because the difference for me is I had to do. Well, I'm not sure if you do the same thing. I had to pay for it in full. Where some places were like the 300 deposit or whatever, I had to pay for it in full. So my PayPal was like, hey,
yeah.
you've been charged, almost $800. But I didn't got confirmation from Best Buy. And here's a mini story. And this I worked at Best Buy. Complete just liars. I go in chat and I
I
shop
was
at
gonna
Best
say
Buy
maybe
too.
that's why you were able to get it. Maybe you like built up some goodwill with Best Buy,
Maybe,
and your
yeah.
your IP has been pumped up in the queue or something.
Because that's how I did it when for the PS4. I remember because PS4 I worked at Best Buy. I remember that because I worked in home entertainment, home theater, whatever they call it back then. But I remember every day people coming in, and that those PS4s went really quick. And that was another one why PS5. Yeah, I didn't have much issues, but PS4 I still got it. But I think because I was at work when it was revealed, I was at work. Yeah, so us at work kind of cheated and got to jump the line a little bit. But I
Nice.
remember they were that same night gone, and people kept coming in to pre-order. I'm like, oh no, sorry, we can't. But I go in a chat. I ask them like, hey, I shop at Best Buy. Usually when I buy something, I get a receipt right away, confirmation. And this person says, oh, you won't get a confirmation email till shipping out. I'm like, that
Mm,
can't be real. That's not a true
yeah.
thing. And then I almost did, but I chose to be a better person. Man, I got that pop up. How was your chat window? I was so ready to 1 star, thumbs down, big. But I'm like, no, no, I gotta ruin this day's job. But then what I did is I closed out, go to a different chat. The guy's like, oh, I could forward that email to you, and I forward the email. So that person had no idea what they were doing, but I was worried for a bit. But good thing this kind of did happen because I've moved in the past 6 months. I had my old address on there, so I would not want the switch to be going there. So luckily, I got that all
Hmm.
changed. So yeah, I
Nice.
don't think I got. I just as a confirmation, I looked, I didn't see a date. So I feel like if I remember with the PS5. I think it came out on the Friday, and I feel like I got it on the Sunday. So I think I was like a day and a half late. If
Right.
I'm
Right.
correct about the Friday, I could be wrong, but I think that's what I remember. Because me, Taylor, and Kirkman were recording a Star Wars commentary track, and it came during that. I had to keep checking my phone because it's one of those things like, oh, if we knock, you're not there. We're not going to do it. But yeah, so I think Best Buy kind of like that, where maybe that's why some people don't prefer Best Buy because they want it right away. But I'm like, I don't need it right away. I just it's nice to have it. So yeah, we'll have to
Hmm.
see.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you planning on picking up anything else? Like any accessories, or like are you getting any games? Like there's not. I don't
What's
think there's
that
any really
training module
games.
game? Like the
I already forget what it's called. The Switch to Welcome Tour, I think is what it's called. Yeah.
yeah. No, just Card and Donkey Kong. Like obviously Donkey Kong's out the month after, but I don't think
Yeah.
so. I think we will still use the old games, and then also I guess they said at launch the GameCube thing's not going to be working, right? That's going to
It
be
will
coming
be. It
down.
will be on launch
Okay,
actually.
so I'll
Yeah.
probably dabble in a
With
couple
only
of
like the three
those.
games, it'll be Wind Waker, F Zero, and Soul Calibur. Those will only be the ones like on that day.
I'll download some F Zero. I haven't played in that in a while. That'd be
Nice.
perfect. So yeah, I'll probably just do that and Cart because we haven't like the girls haven't played Cart ever. They've played a Paw Patrol clone version of it, but I think we'll do that. And yeah, no, I don't think so because this is, even though it's still money I had set aside for different stuff, it's still purchases that I wasn't planning on making, and
Yeah.
also for my game library. Because are we doing what we've been playing? Does that come up after, or do we
Yeah.
skip that?
For sure.
Okay, okay. Then I'll get to after. But yeah, so I think I'm just gonna keep it because I don't want to buy. I don't want to buy anything that gets in the way of Donkey Kong because I need, and it's tough because Death Stranding's out. So I really, it's a predicament. But Mario Kart's more family, so I'm definitely
Hmm.
gonna be playing some rounds. But I want that Switch 2 for July.
Yeah.
That's my time. July is my
Nice.
time. So
Yeah, I wonder. Like, I feel like we've gotten a Switch Direct in June or July, like every year for the last few years. So I
mhm.
imagine that would be a nice timing. Kind of a big hype thing for Donkey Kong. I don't think they'd have any other like surprise first party games this year though. Like maybe some other third party stuff, but I kind of feel like they've kind of charted out with the next because they didn't never dropped a release date for Metroid, but that'll probably be their big fall game along with
Right.
Pokemon, even though it's on Switch One, but like that'll still be there. And then I don't know. I think that kind of takes us through the end of the year, and then obviously third party stuff. We'll see what kind of support that gets this year, and then just kind of dropping those GameCube things and whether other random releases. So
What's the
I think I'm
Metroid
probably.
official date?
I know
Is
it doesn't have
it
one yet.
right?
I think there's
2025.
a chance
Yeah,
to get kicked. It get kicked. It
I think
gets
so
kicked
too.
again.
Yeah.
Honestly, even though like we've seen a lot of it at this point, but it's weird to me that they had a direct, and then like a few days later the Switch 2 direct, and neither of those had the release date ready to go. It seems kind of
And
strange, but
I know
maybe they
it's
just want to see what the Switch 2 sales are like before they
true.
decide on that. And maybe they want to wait until more people pick it up. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're gonna have any issues with player base or like install base on the console at this point.
And I know it was probably designed for the Switch too, but I think we talked about this in the Switch reveal. It feels weird to get a Donkey Kong game we didn't even hear about, and then a full-on date. We know what's coming. Where Metroid been in the works for, I don't know, feels like half a decade, if not more, and we're still not even. It's just like 2025 window. But yeah, I think you're right. I was just gonna say if that game came out early fall, I could see maybe something in December, but I don't think so. I think you're right. If and even then, if it gets pushed, it's not a big deal. Like that we'll have to see because we were talking about in the Discord how the sales are. The pre-sale sales did really well. It's so far like it's hard to do. They won't release full data yet, but as far as people that track the stuff, it's doing better than the Switch. Now again, these are the hardcores. These are people like us that maybe now have like I've only bought one Switch and I'm can do an update. We'll have to see after the fact, but at least I think for the Q4 and Q3 of 2025, if you look at the Switch, I think that's all going to be just aces for now. So it's like even if Metroid were to get delayed, I don't think that's like a be all, and like I don't think that hurts them. Okay, it does hurt them, but I don't think it kneecaps them. Like, man, we really needed Metroid to push this console. Like, I don't think so. Like Mario Kart and Donkey Kong's, I think almost enough. And then you got the other stuff you talk about, right? Like Pokemon, etc.
I think it's more of like there is still so many people on just the Switch 1 who won't upgrade this year because of the price or because of other reasons.
Yeah.
And so I feel like to me that's like their last big, maybe even the swan song game for the console. So even though it's on Switch 2, I feel like they probably want to get it out the door more for Switch 1 people more than any. I mean, that's where they're going to make their money anyway. Like the Switch 2 is not where they're going to make most of their money on that game anyway.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because you have Pokemon, but it's like kind of a spin-off, and it's like it's fine, whatever. But I feel like Metroid's kind of like the big one at least. But even then, it is pretty niche. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm curious with both of them. I'm curious with not Donkey Kong as much, but still, Donkey Kong hasn't had a solo title in a while. Metroid, like I said, I think with that, I've talked about this with movies like Fantastic Four and Superman. I feel like there's a lot of classic characters that we grew up with that are having a comeback party. And my question is like, who's showing up to that party now? Because it's off topic, but I like my nephew on Emily's side, like by marriage or whatnot. Like he saw Minecraft, and I asked him like, "Did you know Superman movie was coming out before?" He's like, "No." Like, "Oh, did that look interesting to you?" "No." And he went with a couple friends. Like, "Did they seem interested?" And he's like, "Not at all." I'm like, "Okay." And that was he's I won't say awkward, but he's in that stage of like just like he's a preteen, so just kind of hanging out by himself. But that's where it's like same thing with Donkey Kong and Metroid. I think at the hardcores, but I don't think it's like Mario and Zelda where it's like, oh, those are guaranteed like box office hits. Like I think Donkey Kong has a good chance because the movie, and I think people just like Donkey Kong in general, but you never know. Maybe people are like, I like him as a supporting, in Smash, in Mario Party, but I don't know if I need a game. But yeah, it's gonna be. But then again, that's only if let's say you're just a Switch 2 person. Yeah, that's your.
I think that's why it will rise up because so far it looks fine, and I think for me and you as Donkey Kong 64 big fans, like we're super excited for it. But I think a lot of people seem kind of like lukewarm on it, and even like from impressions from people who have played it at events, and that is like a limited chunk. You play like an hour of the game in one level or something like that. Don't seem to be super duper excited, but I don't know. I'm still pretty hyped for it. I still think I'm gonna pick it up. So I think for me, I'm similar to you. I'm gonna obviously play a bunch of Mario Kart, then Donkey Kong when that comes out, and then I think the big one for me actually is gonna be just that upgrade with Tears of the Kingdom. Seeing what that is like, because that was a big issue I had with that game. Was like the frame rate and stuff was horrendous, and the game doesn't look great because of some of the limitations there. So and that's a game I never finished, so I'm excited to kind of re-download that and get back into that. So since that's through the Nintendo Switch Online, I'll get that upgrade. The other ones I saw are like $20 or more for some of them, like the Kirby one, which I was maybe interested in, but it's like kind of expensive for it feels like not a lot there. Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to be picking up that update. We'll see if it changes. And like I think even like the Mario Party thing is like $25 or something for that upgrade, which seems kind of crazy. So I don't know, maybe that's just conversion, or maybe I read that wrong, but it seems like they're not going to keep it like as a strict $10 upgrade like has kind of been set by PlayStation mostly, and then Xbox. Seems like they're going to go variable pricing just like they are with their games in terms of the upgrades as well. So I'm really curious to see how they justify, or what like how they, I don't know, like I guess in theory it means maybe a good thing of them making like really notable upgrades to these games to justify a higher price if they're going to do something. But if I guess it's like, oh, if you just want like better graphics and frame rate, that's going to be $10, and everything else, if there's new content, it's
Yeah.
like $20 ish. We'll see how it goes from there.
And you asked, that's the only thing is maybe another accessory like we were talking about. Remotes cost an arm and a leg, but
Yeah.
I live in a household of 5 people. Luckily, right now, like Ellie doesn't play, and Mario Kart's something where it's like I would be fine if we do like, hey, 2 people play right now, 2 people play. Like eventually we'll get the whole fam jam, all 4 racing, but we'll see the day of. That's something maybe I would like to hope that even around Christmas there's like a $2 sale on one. Be like, okay, I can pick this up on that. So again, I'm not. Can you, even with the Joy Cons, they usually always come in the double, right? You don't just buy a Joy Con, you buy 2. Yeah, okay.
I don't know if it's possible to buy one.
Yeah,
honestly.
so at that point we'll see. Might just take the plunge and get it over with. Of like, what's the point of like, if it was one, then I'd say okay, maybe we'll win by 1. But at that point, it's like might just buy 2, and then all 4 of us got it. But we can easily share and come in and out. Like that's a good thing with Mario Kart. It's an easy like trade off a turn. So that'd be the only other thing. I will at some point, I don't know if it's on day 1, but I will definitely be getting the game. I already said to you whenever I want that GameCube, like the Pro controller. I just love the look of it. I'm a big junkie for that. And like we talk about like the PS1 era, like that era of games. And if I have a Pro controller, it's like I'd like to use it. Even though it doesn't work with something, right? We talked about. I thought there was something it doesn't work with. Or maybe
I think it just has like less buttons, so maybe that's like a limitation of it. I don't know. I remember that was a thing like around the day of the announcement. I was like, oh, this will only work with the GameCube app, but then it was like debunked. But I don't know. I think it will be mostly universal, but it just might be weird with like the janky left bumper. And I mean, even like the Z button's not great on the GameCube controller, right? And then I don't know if they added a home button to it, so it might be like hard to navigate.
Right.
Like the
so
menu.
I may
and
wait
stuff
on that one. That's one where I'm not going to be buying day 1, but that's like if Emily's like, hey, what do you want for Christmas? And people have liked it, be like, hey, that's something you can get me as on that realm.
Yeah.
So yeah, those will be only 2. I'm not getting the that
and I mean
headset or anything or the camera.
Yeah, if we're doing like a stream or something, or if me or Taylor come over, like we can just bring ours and plug and like connect that way to play like bigger Mario Kart matches. But yeah, I don't think I'll get like I never even got a second pair of Joy-Cons for my Switch. Well, sort of exception because mine got like drift and they weren't working anymore, so then I had to buy a second pair. But like I never had like 2 working pairs at the same time, and that worked fine for me because I still have the GameCube controller adapter, which I think is confirmed to work still on the Switch too. So I can plug 4 GameCube controllers in that way. The old ones that don't have left bumper, but works for Smash or Mario Kart or whatever. And then I probably would like to get a Pro controller. I had one for the Switch. I think I had like a knockoff one and it broke eventually, but I probably will want to get that. I don't know. We'll see because one issue I've had with the Switch for a long time is like the Joy-Cons straight up give me hand pain. So we'll see with these bigger controllers, bigger buttons, bigger joystick, if that's still the case. Hopefully not. Like I don't want to have to buy something just to not have hand pain, but that's what happens.
I had one for the Wii U, but I never got one for the Switch because I got the Switch halfway through its life cycle, and I should have, but I guess I was just kind of like, maybe it's passed me by or this and that because this is a day 1. It's like, hey, if the GameCube one doesn't work, then it's like within the first 3 to 4 months, I will be getting a Pro controller because that's just the way I prefer to play. Even if like I do one day with Donkey Kong and I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling this, I might be looking at those GameCube reviewers like a lot quicker and just say, oh, hey, just say this is my Christmas present because I prefer that. And plus, there's just other ones that if I do the GameCube library, because I've been this is a deep cut, but how do you think there's any games on the GameCube library that are not like how much percentage do you think they're going to be? What I'm trying to get to is, do you think Star Fox Adventures is going to make it on there? Because I've been
I think so.
I've been really wanting to replay it, but I was like, I really would prefer not to bust out the GameCube because I don't have like you like a good setup right there where I got like the old TV or anything like that. Like I think I'd even have to buy like one of those like adapters. So I was like, is that the worth to do Star Fox playthrough or wait till it's on the GameCube service, which obviously it's not gonna be like remastered, but it'll still look a little like a tad better too, right, than the GameCube. So
I get it would be widescreen and maybe slightly better looking.
One of my favorite games
all buttons
time.
Potentially.
Loved that game, man. Oh.
Yeah, I think so because I'm pretty sure every other Star Fox game is on Nintendo Switch Online. Like even the one that was like only ever released in Japan, they just dropped it on like even the North American
That's cool.
thing, like the N64 one, I think, or I forget what console generation it was on. So I mean, I feel like they don't seem to want to do anything else with Star Fox, and I don't know if that's going to change. Like that's one of the few IP that is just continuing to be dead. Even like F-Zero is still getting these NSO games. It got F-Zero 99, so it got like a new entry in the Switch generation, whereas Star Fox, I feel like after the crash and burn of Zero, like I don't know if the Switch 2 is even going to be the time that re-emerges, but I think a good way to keep it somewhat active is just like dump the games on the service. And yeah, you got like some weird different Star Fox games on the GameCube, which is nice.
Well, and even with that, you can track if, like, let's say Adventures goes up there and you have their charts of what gets downloaded the most. Like, okay, something like this is, because I'm always kind of surprised. I don't even know. They must have GameCube sales, right? Like, I have to look and see what Star Fox Adventures even did and stuff. Maybe I'll pull that up in a second, because I just feel like that was, I was always surprised we didn't get a follow-up. Very easy to, they had some ship battles, but then it was Star Fox at the ship. Like, it reminded me of
that one was a launch window thing, right?
I think so, yeah. It just reminded me of, it felt similar to Luigi's Mansion of, hey, we're taking an IP, but we're doing something a little bit different with it this time. And that's my fear, that's why even if Donkey Kong is like not like a 10 out of 10 game of the year, as long as it's good and sells, then that makes me happy that we can get more down the line or whatnot. Where Star Fox, that game I think was their idea to bring that back, and like you said, with Crash and Burn, that's my fear about Donkey Kong and even Metroid, right? Of like, if Metroid comes out and people don't care, they're like, okay, this franchise, we tried it, this is back on ice, and we'll just like bring out the old games again. So I hope those don't have that fate, and I agree with you that if Star Fox got anything in the Switch 2 era, it would be similar to Metroid, where they've done a bunch of IPs and it's near the very end of the life cycle. Like, it's not like a console seller. I'm a Star Fox fan. I played that 64 game, was burnt to the ground how much I played that on loop. Like, it was a great time. The same thing with Star Fox Adventure. So, but yeah, I think he's not in the limelight right now. The puppets kind of hurt him too. So,
I'm trying to find how much.
Like units it moved, maybe, or something like that.
Specifically, I'm actually just looking at Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze to see how much that sold on the Switch. I don't know if I can find a number for that. By December 2018, 200 copies.
200 copies?
Sorry, 2 million. I'm reading like multiple numbers at the same time.
No wonder why they don't make a Donkey Kong.
Atrocious.
What's the first week numbers like? 200 people bought Donkey Kong. That's like.
And then I'm seeing something here with 4 million. So I don't know. Like, those are good numbers, but not like. I feel like 10 million is that like magical number on the Switch. Is like a huge thing. And I know like with Metroid, like Metroid Dread was the biggest selling Metroid game ever, right? So like that has some precedent. And Tropical Freeze, I think, was like an early port to the Switch. So even that's like pretty old and rusty at this point. And that game never really goes on sale.
Okay, so what do you think? You might know this. What was the top selling game of the GameCube?
On the GameCube,
yeah, number one, sold 7.41 million units.
Whoa, yeah, I guess the GameCube only sold like 40 million like consoles or something, right? I would say Mario Sunshine or Melee would be my guesses.
It's Melee. Sunshine's 3, and then Mario Kart Double Dash is 2. So Melee has the record at 7.4. So I was looking.
Oh, cool. I didn't actually know that. That's cool.
I didn't know that either, but now it's like, it makes the most sense. It's weird though. So like, I looked, Star Fox Adventures 13, which is pretty good in its whole life cycle, but the big difference of like Super Smash 7.4 and then Star Fox Adventures at 1.8. So it's like there's a big difference between just even 1 and 13. But even then, like, when I was making that Luigi's Mansion comparison, Luigi Mansion only did 3.3 million, and then Star Fox 1.8.
That one was a launch title too, which can always be, it's one of it's two things. It's one, it means that game's there for the entire life cycle. It can sell copies for years and years, but also it means like at launch when the hype is around it, there's going to be the smallest amount of people that are ever going to have that console and able to buy it. So
and do they
it's always bundles? A double-edged thing.
Because I feel like my GameCube was a Luigi Mansion bundle.
Really? They did a bundle for Luigi's Mansion?
I could be wrong. Maybe it just came together.
That's a wild bundle game for me.
That's
I feel like they usually go for just
maybe.
Like really wide appeal games that are usually like multiplayer for Nintendo. That's kind of crazy if that is true.
I'm gonna have to try and find it. It might be a Mandela effect of me getting it as a.
I know mine came bundled with Melee and Animal Crossing. That's because it came from the pawn shop, so it was a bit of a different different story.
No, I found. I don't know.
Did it have like cool box art? I want to see this.
It does not have cool box art. I don't know if this is true or not. I'm gonna pull it up right now on the screen, but there is. Okay. The Nintendo GameCube, hang on, Jet Black Luigi bundle. But look, it's like that, and that has.
Oh,
I think I had
interesting.
something like this. I swear it was a bundle that came with Luigi's, and a lot of these pictures are
Did
showing
you have the
like,
black GameCube
no,
or
I had the
the
blue
indigo?
or the indigo.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't
Hmm.
know. Like I said, could be a Mandela effect. Anybody out there that's listening in the Discord comments, wherever, let us know if you also got a Luigi Mansion bundle or if I'm just making that up. But I swear it was there. But you know, to my point, if I was to go on the Nintendo stands and defend it, Paper Mario got made 1.9 at 12, and that 13 is 1.8 Star Fox. I feel like if Paper Mario got, I know it's Mario, but still, they got other sequels later on, I'd say Star Fox Adventures deserves one more.
And they
time
remade
to
that
shine.
game on Switch.
Yeah.
The Paper Mario. Yeah.
And that would be my pitch. I'd be like, hey, Nintendo, you did a Star Fox ship game, didn't work out. Here's a way to like revitalize it. For some people, it'll be old, but for other people, like, oh, that's cool. He's out of his ship. Like, that's my pitch. Do Star Fox Adventures 2 or a subtitle.
That's a
and
white
then-
whale game for me for sure. So I'm excited to
Yes. Oh, you've
play.
never
I mean,
played it?
hopefully they. I've never played it. Never played it.
Oh, I bet it
Only
doesn't hold
adventure.
at all. I bet I'm not gonna. I'm gonna have to be on that side quest with you, and you tear it apart
Yeah.
when it comes to GameCube. But I'll retro that with you when it comes to
That'd be
GameCube.
great.
That'll make
love
me
to.
play it. So let's do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess just to quickly recap, the 3 games on day 1, Zelda Wind Waker, which I've not ever played that game, so that's a really nice one to have
Really?
day 1. Yeah, that's another white whale one for me, even though I was a huge GameCube kid. I guess I didn't have a lot of games back then, you know, it's like I had to really choose, like, I got one game a year. Am I getting Simpsons Hit and Run or am I getting Wind Waker? I guess I went Simpsons
I'm
Hit and Run.
surprised by that. That Wind Waker to me was a game that, like, to me, it's like if you met people with the GameCube, they played Mansion,
Yeah.
Kart, Melee, and Wind Waker. Like those were the
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore, and I'm surprised. Okay.
I know, so I've been missing one there. F-Zero GX and then Soul Calibur 2. And then the ones they confirmed are coming, Mario Sunshine, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, Mario Strikers, of course, which will be really nice to have that easily accessible. Luigi's Mansion, which is cool because then I'll have the whole trilogy will be on Switch and Switch 2, which is great. Well, I guess not on Switch 1, only on Switch 2,
Yeah.
to clarify. Pokemon Coliseum, and then Chibi Robo. I'm really excited for that one because that's like a rare game, like really expensive at like secondhand stores, and that seems like a weird one of those weird games that I've always wanted to check out. So I'm excited for that one as well. So hopefully those come like fairly quickly. I mean, if they announce them, they probably will put them out in the next like 3 months, I would say.
Yeah. Which that's another thing
yeah.
too, with like you can trickle out of like obviously that's not gonna be a console seller, but if it's like to keep the audience happy, that's like, hey, Christmas, there's no, let's say Metro gets pushed, right? And there's no big single party one. It's like, okay, we're gonna make sure by November these 6 GameCube games are ready to go. And I think Nintendo, the people that are the early adopters of Switches will be happy with that, because those are the people that would go, oh, I'm getting it for X, Y, and Z and play the GameCube. You know, the Christmas crowd, I feel that's more the like whether it's like our kids with it's for a birthday or Christmas, that's more the okay, general audience, family, they're starting to get it now, and you don't really have to worry about till like March, April, because they'll still be getting Mario Kart and Donkey Kong, right? Like those will still be the 2 that they'll get. So
Yeah. All right. Let's take our first break, and we'll be right back for our next set of topics. Okay, we are back. I think it's time for a check-in of the video game draft. Of course, back in, well, I think we did it February this year.
Yes.
Every year, the GV quads, the GV4, all pick a bunch of games, video games that are going to come out. And then when they finally do come out, we look at their Metacritic score, gets added onto your tally, and then by the end of the year, we see who has the highest rating of games. Last year, we added games mid-year and then kind of replaced some things that got delayed. So we'll probably do that again in the summer, maybe after the Switch 2 comes out at some point. We did it around Gamescom, I think, last year, so maybe we'll plan to do that
yeah,
same
because
thing
then by
again.
that point we've had Games Fest, right? So if there's anything else that's like a surprise
Should be
drop,
a bunch of new things.
Yeah.
And if any delays, most of them
Yes.
will get announced by that point. Then you can always get avowed like me last year, and you never know. Last minute they'll pull it from under your feet.
that could be
and
my
you're
rock
screwed.
star this year. That could, I'm sticking with GTA to the bitter end. You know,
You do
Kyle's
have
like,
that on
that's
your
coming out
list.
this year. I'm like, yeah, I hope it does. I hope
Possible.
it does. Yeah.
I mean, it might get you like 120 points on Metacritic. It might break the scale for the first time ever. You know,
That
So it could give
legitimately
you-
could be a game. Like that's a white whale. That could win me the video game draft if I need a big one. But again, that's just like a win or lose scenario. So
Well, let's look at a current lose scenario, which is Taylor Field in 4th place. 2 of his games have released now: Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, 79 points, and Wonderstop at 80 points. So honestly, a solid average, like pretty
That's
much
pretty
80.
good.
You know, we
Yeah.
take those. So 159
Absolutely.
points overall. He's got Death Stranding coming out very soon. Metroid Prime, which hopefully, you know, to our point, does not get delayed as we were thinking it might. And then Anno 117, which apparently is still coming out. I totally forgot. He drafted that. Totally forgot that was a game until I was looking at this again today. That's still supposed to come out this year. So we'll see what happens with his. Kirkland has 2 games released as well. He has Split Fiction, which released for 91, really
That's a good
solid.
one.
And then Atom Fall, which I'm surprised to see at a 74. I thought that game would have, after playing through it and really
Really?
enjoying it, I thought it would have been in the 80s or low 80s, closer to the 80s at
Yeah.
least.
Okay.
But either
That surprised
way,
me.
because of the high 91 of Split Fiction, he's above Taylor Field, so he's at 165. He has Doom: The Dark Ages coming out in just a couple weeks,
That's gonna rock.
and then
That's gonna
yeah.
do well for him.
I think so.
Yeah.
And then Mafia: The Old Country in the summer, and then MGS Delta. I forget when that's supposed to come out, but I think it is. I mean, we've seen a lot of trailers for it, so I think it's still
I
coming
think it's like November. It's end of the year, I think. Because I was just recently talking about this with Chris about if we were, because he's a fan of that series too, and we're both like, yeah, I think we'll wait. But I think it's more near the end of the year where I was like, still could get pushed. Still
I thought that
could
was
hurt
going
'em.
to come out holiday of last year, so we'll see what
Yes.
happens. Yeah.
You can't trust Konami. You know, who knows what's
Yeah.
going on over there. So
Don't trust Konami. But so far, Kirkland has the highest rated individual game. That is Split Fiction at 91. So really good pick for him. That was his second round pick. And then for you and me, Travis, because we have 3 games released, we are in the number 1 and 2 spots. You are at number 2 right now with a very clean average. You have Avowed at 80, Assassin's Creed Shadows at 81, and WWE 2K25 at 80 as well. So just
No
80, 80,
lemons.
80 across
Yeah.
the board.
I'll take that. I don't have a big winner yet, but I don't have a big loser yet either. So that's a good average for me going into like the back half, like the second half of the year for me. So I'm nothing but 80s. You tell me that, I'm happy with that so far.
Yeah.
So
You do, I will say, have a couple question marks, though, because Judas and then, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
GTA 6
Yes.
to close it out. So those are a risky 2 to count on just because Judas is another one of those games that, I don't know, could come out 7 years from now. I would not be shocked. You never
Yeah.
know with that,
it could
with
not be
that
good,
team.
not good, but it could also just be like,
True.
they didn't meet the magic of it. Like that's GTA and Judas are big
Mm-hmm.
Hail Marys, but who knows? We'll see if it plays off.
But I'm kind of surprised you have, you know, of your 3 games released, Assassin's Creed is the highest rating. Look at that series go.
By-
Still plugging along all these
Yeah.
years later.
Yeah, I've heard good things. So you know, Kyle's been playing a lot. He told
Oh,
me.
cool.
Yeah,
I'll
so
have to bring him on Sidequest.
yeah, so I'm happy to have Assassin's Creed there and take it from Taylor. He didn't believe in it. Taylor was like, "Oh, you can have it," but like 81, that's
Yeah, this was a
that's-
3rd round pick, so he picked Anno 117 over Assassin's Creed. Or I don't know how that worked. I forget the order of picking, but
Either way, he could have had it
crazy.
first. He could have first.
yeah, he
you know?
could have. Instead, he went Death Stranding 2 on the beach, which not all of us were like, "Whoa, that game might not
Yeah.
come out." It is coming out, so good job to
Yes,
Taylor for
yes.
that. So we'll see. What is the Metacritic of Death Stranding 1? I feel like it's in the 80s.
I think it's high 80s. I'm gonna say it's like 87, because I feel like the people that really liked the game rated it very high, so that's
Yeah.
what saved it. Where I think there was a lot of like,
82
oh really? Okay,
is where it's at right now.
I thought it was higher, so 82, and I could see that
86 on
being-
PC, you know, so you always got to
Okay,
check
maybe
those
that's what
different
I was
platforms.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm wondering what this could be. You could tell me that the sequel's a 90, I could believe it. You could tell me the sequel's a 70, I could believe it, because I know
Yeah.
Kojima's going to take some big swings. Just a question of which
Mm-hmm.
direction do the swings go? So
Yeah, I mean, my guess would be that like the audience, like gamers as a whole, are gonna enjoy the game more. I think mostly just because like people, like the first one weeded out a lot of people, probably like people who
Absolutely,
played it and
yes.
didn't like it. Probably not gonna come back for the
Yeah,
second one
you
unless
could.
they just like the people that like to complain about stuff, and then they'll pick it up anyway and still complain about it. But you don't need to buy the game to complain. Just go complain about it for free on
Yeah,
Twitter.com. But
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, but that doesn't really mean anything for the critics and the Metacritic score. Well, there's the audience score, of course, but the one we're looking at is the critic one.
Mm-hmm.
And then that leaves me currently in first place with Monster Hunter Wilds at 90, South of Midnight 77, and MLB The Show 2583, which apparently came out. I don't think I heard a single whimper about that. Not that I was expecting to, but I'm surprised South of Midnight is
Me
in the
too.
70s, especially
My
after
time had so much
hearing.
buzz.
Yeah, people praise it, and I played the first couple hours, and honestly, it wasn't really my cup of tea. I might go back to it, but like didn't really have enough to say and bring it up on the show. But after like the first couple hours that I played, I'm pretty surprised by that rating of it, It's not the worst, I guess, but I think it's officially yellow on Metacritic, which you never like to see that
You don't wanna
mustard
be
yellow. So,
Yeah.
but
Just
Monster
like
Hunter,
Metacritic
which was
or
my
snow.
number one round pick, gave me a 90. So that's kind of
Yeah.
that's good to see. And I got Elden Ring and Ghost of Yotei coming out. So those should be pretty good ones. So I'm feeling pretty good about my
Yeah,
list right now.
I think you're probably locked with another 90 or at least high 80 with Elden Ring because I think people just love that. Ghost of the Yotei, like, what did the first Ghost do? Is that like,
Try and find out.
I'm probably going to have it wrong. I thought that was more like an 81, 82. So I probably have Death Stranding that completely confused and switched around. But
83.
okay, so
83.
I feel like it's going to be about that. I could see it dip
Yeah, I think so.
below an 80, but not into the yellow at least. That's where
Okay.
my prediction is there. But I think Elden Ring,
Yeah.
you got a good winner there. So
And then, yeah, I don't know if I said it, but you were at 241 overall. I'm at 250. So we're 9 points difference
okay,
between us. So it's not the hugest. You know,
One
GTA 6, if
away.
it comes out and it's a 90 plus, like, you know, right in there.
100. That we could get 100 now. You know.
Has any game ever got 100?
No,
I think Mario
Breath of
Galaxy is at like 100.
Oh, is it? And Breath of the Wild, I think, was really close, right? Wasn't that Breath of the Wild? I think had 100 for quite a while, and
Mario
then
Galaxy is at
eventually-
97, which is
Okay.
insane.
I think Breath of the Wild. I feel like that's 98. Did it eclipse it back then? Because I remember it was rocking 100 for at least a couple.
97 as well.
Okay, it was rocking 100 for a couple days. That's what pushed me over to buy that game because I was like, I gotta play this thing and see what it's like.
There must
And
be a way I
s-
can just go look at the rankings. There must
Yeah,
be a
so-
ranking.
I think those are the two highest ones. Okay, maybe it's not gonna be 100, but I could see GTA 6. It could, because like even though. Uh-oh.
Okay, let me pop quiz you right now. Try and guess like the top 10 of Metacritics. This I'm already surprised. The number one's not surprising, but there are multiple other surprises in this list. Of
Okay,
top
with
10.
number one, can you at least give me a decade so I know what I'm working with? Because there's a lot of games out there.
And as we mentioned, so Mario Galaxy, that's at 4 overall.
Okay, and
I don't know how this because so there's multiple things at 97, but Mario Galaxy's at 4 on here. Breath of the
I
Wild
guess-
that's at 6,
Oh,
even though they're both at 97. So,
what's the
let's
decade
see.
of number one?
That is a 90s game. In fact, the top 2 are 90s games.
Oh boy,
Late 90s. I'll even give you that.
late 90s, top 2. Okay, I'm gonna do.
Okay, here's another
I'm gonna do
hint.
Guess Who.
Both
yeah.
series, actually, I'll expand this to the top 3. The top 3 are series we have already mentioned on this episode of Sidequest today in this hour.
So I feel like one of them's got to be a Smash game, right? Is one of those top 3 a Smash game?
There is no Smash in the top 10.
Okay, so we talked about that. And I know it's not Star Fox, so I know.
Yeah, no, Star Fox Adventures.
Yeah.
I'm saying the series. Sorry, I'm saying the series, not necessarily the individual game.
No, I know.
Yeah.
You're saying
Okay.
series we talked about because I know we were talking about Smash.
I just mean you're
Bros.
memeing on Star Fox, but like I don't know, Star Fox 64. I feel like that's a critically acclaimed game, right?
Yeah, but that's not in the top 10 though, right?
No, it's not.
No,
It's
I didn't
not-
think
it's
so.
not in the
No,
top
I
10.
didn't think so. Yeah, it should be 60. That's maybe not. Maybe not. But
Spoiling
it's-
number 11 here, Metroid Prime at number 11. Way to go.
that
the
makes
original
sense,
Prime.
Okay, 90s late game. Okay, I'm doing still call friend. Is it a Nintendo game for number one?
Yes, Nintendo game number 1.
Late 90s. Is it Mario 64?
Is not Mario 64.
Is Mario 64 on that top 10 list?
Mario 64 is not in the top 25.
Wow, surprising. I thought that was a transcendent game back then.
But
Nintendo-
you're close. You're red hot with that guess.
Yeah, because you said 90s, so it's not GameCube era. Is it one of the carts?
No carts. No carts.
Is it Mario RPG?
No Mario RPG.
Oh, you said I was close. I officially thrown the towel. I've thrown the towel.
Okay. Number 1, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Oh,
99.
That was 99. I thought that was earlier. Okay. That's why I
Yeah.
thought it was more like 96, 97. But no, I guess
Well,
that tracks. 99. Yeah, that
Because I
makes
think this
sense.
N64 came out in 96, I think.
Yeah, and that's why I was in my mind I had to have like
Yeah.
a launch game. But that's just young Travis. Just like I think when I got the N64, I got that Donkey Kong and Ocarina of Time. So okay.
Mhm. Okay, number 2, the original Soul Calibur.
Really?
Isn't that insane? At 98 on Metacritic.
What were
Came
they
in 99.
smoking back then? Jeez, my
They
God.
got to put that one on Nintendo Switch Online. Enough of
They
Soul
really
Calibur
do.
2. I want to
Yeah.
go play the second highest rated game of all time. Do
Yeah.
you want to guess the rest of these, or do you want me to reveal
No, you
them?
tell me. You tell me.
Okay.
Terrible.
Number 3 is GTA 4. Number
Okay. Yeah.
4, Super Mario Galaxy. 5, Super Mario Galaxy 2, right next to each other, which is,
I think
cute.
we've talked about that before. That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild at number 6. Another big surprise, number 7 is Perfect Dark, the original Perfect Dark.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Another surprise, number 8 is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3.
Yeah, makes sense. I just feel like, yeah, just
Yeah.
a buzz game. So.
And then Rockstar closing out with Red Dead 2 and GTA 5 for number 9 and 10. And then GTA 3 is number 12. So yeah, Rockstar is all over this list for sure.
Perfect Dark and what was the other one there? Soul Calibur, definitely ones I would have never. I could have sat here
Yeah.
for hours and never.
In a
got
million
those
years, I'd
two.
never would have guessed Soul Calibur.
Yeah. Wow. There you go. There's your history lesson.
Good to know. That I should blow this out into a full quiz. I feel like this would be fun to quiz you guys on some of these things.
Yeah.
I feel like Metacritic's got some good stats here from over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there is our draft. So yeah, I think we're gonna get an update here pretty soon with Kirkland's Doom Dark Ages. He could pop into number 1 place with that. We'll see. He would need. I'm not good at quick math. He would need an 86, I think. So I think
Same.
he's probably gonna cruise into number 1 here pretty quick.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will they stay
So, yeah.
there? Who knows?
Well, only time will tell. Let's talk about some of the games we've been playing. What have you been playing, Travis?
So not too much because I just had been busy recently, but obviously we talked about this on After 9 quickly, and I'll just quickly talk about it. Played Call of Duty this weekend with Taylor because Verdansk's been back. That's been fun, but we're going on our 9th session now. 0 wins. Don't know what's happening. It's soul crushing, Dylan. I said this to even Emily like that night where it's like it's not even the wins. It's like getting into the final circle and be like, oh, we're so close to that. Like that's like rarely happen anymore. Don't know if it's the Omni movements. Don't know if it's I lost something when having the twins, and there's just like
I
just
blame
don't have
Omni
the same-
movement, man. That's my excuse.
That's the excuse I have to go to because like, and we've still gotten wins in the past, but yeah, there's never been this long a drought. And you can hear on After 9 Taylor tries to be like, oh well, for Dansk it's different than this. Like, yeah, sure, but it's like to me, it's like to not have a win after that many sessions is quite brutal. So it's getting to a point where I will play it, of course, but before it was like almost an every weekend thing. Now it's gonna probably be like a bi-weekly thing, which will probably get me worse, right? It'll make me worse, but it's like when you play a lot. It's like I said, if you were to get to the final circle and not win, be like, oh. At some point we'll get it, but it's always the same thing. If you land somewhere, you get a bunch of stuff, you start, you're going really good, and then the team just comes in and wipes you out, and that's it. It's over, and you go back to the loading screen. You know, it's like you just get settled, and it's over, and it's just like I feel like old man gamer, where it's like we used to be like a hat trick was like the bare minimum. It was like okay, we get 3 wins, and then let's see what more we can do. There was one night where me, Tara, and Emily did 9 wins in a row on Resurgence. Like
And now you're 9 weeks.
Yeah, now 9 weeks. So hopefully it happens. I mean, I'm sure Taylor's now new justification as well. We can't do it without 4 of us. So, and I agree. I'm not dropping again until there's a full squad. Maybe that's
Okay.
it, but I still don't think that's it. I don't, as much as I want to believe that. And then the other thing is, so as I talked about when I came back, I have this whole like list of what I want to do. Originally, my list was Alan Wake, Doom, and then going to Death Stranding. Obviously, Nintendo's going to throw some stuff in there, but really, it's just going to be Donkey Kong because, like, I'm not even like I can leave it to the girls. I'm not obsessed with like finishing all the tracks and doing stuff like Mario Kart. I enjoy, but I feel like it's
a game you're gonna play consistently for 8 years. You know, you don't need
Yes.
to play it a shit ton in a month.
And I think it's like unlike Donkey Kong where I've been thirsting for it. Like Mario Kart is a game that I've played so much in my life. It's like I know how Mario Kart, like I know what to do here. And like I'm never I'm not like the way Emily's jonesing for like I'm not jonesing for Mario Kart. If you were to tell me, hey, you're not gonna play a Mario Kart and Switch 2, oh man, I'd be okay, cool. I've played it since I was 5. Like I'm good. But now I've gone back to Star Wars Outlaws. Actually, I subscribed to Ubisoft Plus.
Cool.
Because it's just a combo of reviewing Andor and this weekend with the girls because they were re-released Revenge of the Sith. We saw that. So I'm just kind of in a Star Wars mood. That was on my list, but that was on my list like more like fall to finish. So I did bump Alan Wake, but I just went, okay, I want to complete this game. And my whole thing is I got it for the month. I'm going to power through it and completely beat it. Because I think I'm like, for the main quest, I'm like a 70% there. So I don't have that much to do, but there's still some more side stuff I'd like to play. And
Have you been to all the planets at this point? Like all the different
not
zones?
Tatooine, but I left Tatooine last because
Okay.
I've been at Tatooine again my whole life, you know. So I have no
Yes.
excitement to go there, but I will go there. But no, it's been fun. I went to the green planet now. I can't remember the name of it. That's not from one of the movies, or it is, but that's been a good time. So no, it's just been an enjoyable, fun time. It's on my list. Like I said, I wanted to beat games that I have picked up before and either got close or not everything. Same with Indiana Jones. I beat the game, but there's still tons of side quest stuff I want to go back because I absolutely love the game. I just took a break because I went really hard on Indiana Jones, where it's like, okay, I need to take a break. But yeah, so this one was just the list. I try to keep the list in order, but this was just like a vibes where I'm like, you know what?
Nice.
I want to be shooting stormtroopers. I want to be, and it kind of, not Andor is like a smuggler, but it's that type of vein, right? Where you're not a Jedi, you're someone boots on the ground, you're doing little stealthy missions. I was like, and that's what Andor is. He's boots on the ground. He's sneaking around. Like, okay, this is what I want. So I'm gonna beat that, and then I'll be getting ready for Doom. Maybe I might play something else in between, but my goal is just to beat Outlaws before Doom Dark Ages, and then we'll see. Because I'm not gonna play the Doom in between. What was I can't remember. There was the one in 2015, and then there was a sequel to
Oh yeah,
that.
there's Doom 2016, then Eternal.
Yeah. So Eternal, I'm just not gonna play because I just don't want to get doomed out.
You
before
played
Dark
2016
Age.
though, right?
I did, and I love
Yeah,
that
yeah.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just don't want to get doomed out at and especially because this is a prequel, right? Like it's before, like way back.
Right.
Not that it's big on story, dude, but my idea is, okay, if I play Dark Ages, I'm just loving it, then I know, okay, I got Eternal right there. Where I don't want to play Eternal and be like, okay, I got to do Dark Ages now. Maybe, even though I love the aesthetic, I'm not into it. So yeah, Dark Ages I'm very excited for because I just think everything looks very cool about that. But yeah, so Outlaws and having a good time. Nothing too much to repeat. I did see that there is the DLC though when I re-downloaded that. So,
I was going to ask you about that. Like, does
Yeah.
that pop right in, or do you have to pay extra for that?
It looked like
tell?
when I downloaded on UB Plus, it was the game and then it was Wildcard DLC. It didn't say like, do you want to pay an additional money? It looked like the DLC was just free with it. So that was another thing where I was like, okay, maybe another side.
Yeah,
quest
I don't
on,
think it's a new map or anything. It's just like a couple of quests or probably some weapons,
something with
random
Lando
stuff.
too. He's on there like smiling and like doing some.
Yeah.
That's probably working with him. So yeah, maybe on one side quest when I come back, if I get to play that, like if I'm still wanting to, I can talk about that because I don't think we ever
Cool.
did the DLC talk. But yeah, so this was just a vibes thing. But I still have my game plan list, and then I don't know how long the games are, but after Smash, I guess I didn't say about that. I bought the Minecraft for the girls, like Steve and
Nice.
whoever. I got Banjo, who I'm actually having a
Sweet.
really good time with. I did not know. I think I knew this, but forgot. I did not know both Banjo games are on Games Pass. So I downloaded those, and those might get shuffled somewhere because that's kind of a cheat. That's not a completion list, but I feel like those games can't be too long, right? Like I feel like I could power through those ones, like a
Yeah, I don't
Banjo
know.
Kazooie game. Like I don't know. I just don't remember them. I feel like they didn't even take that long when I was.
I guess if you're just like, getting through the levels, but if you're doing like 100, like getting all the collectibles and whatnot, then that would probably.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
quite a
like
bit of time.
listen to this, Dylan. Main game 11 and a half hours to 100% completion 14 and a half. Yeah, and I feel like that's as a kid. As an adult, I haven't played these games as an adult, and I was a big Banjo fan. So I'm
Yeah.
not sure if those might get reworked somewhere into the list.
If
'cause I've
you
just been-
are planning on doing that, let me know because I think that'd be a fun main topic episode. Because I've played like 2 or 3 hours of Banjo Kazooie, but like that was definitely a blind spot
Okay.
for me back in the N64 days. And
Okay.
anytime I'm like, oh, I love Donkey Kong 64, people are like, oh yeah, that's just a worse version of Banjo Kazooie. I'm like, okay, settle down. I get it. You like your game, but let me like my game. But I definitely would love to like dedicate an episode to really breaking down what makes that game special. But yeah, he also such
Okay.
a fun moveset. I love his moveset in Smash. He's so fun.
Okay. I will not press play until I talk to you then because maybe it'll be an
Well, no,
after.
you can, but just then let me know, and then I'll
No,
press
no.
play as well.
I don't want to be like, oh, I'm in the middle of this game and there's this. Like I play Banjo. I can win. It's
Banjo,
not
that's
like
an easy one. You play
Yeah,
that, and you're
11 and a
half
half
asleep.
hours.
You know?
But Yeah, so that, like I said, that's just my goal this year is the list. I think now that Alan Wake was Alan Wake 2 was the plan, I think I've probably booted that to be my fall game because obviously you got Donkey Kong, we got Death Stranding, Ghost. We'll talk about later. I'm still deciding upon. I think I'm gonna save Alan Wake for the September October spooky
Cool.
season, and that's kind of my.
Perfect.
I kind of got my game plan for now until fall. So yeah, and that was
Until
fun.
Summer
Just a good
Game
time.
Fest hits you with a wrench of like some new
Yeah.
August
Star
game
Fox
or
Adventures 2 dropping August 6th. It's like they did have another game. My God.
That would be crazy.
The
That would be
80-hour version of
And then it's like on the Wii U for some reason. Like they just released a Wii U game in the year.
I didn't sell it. I still got my Wii U somewhere, because I've always said Taylor traces in. I want to once the kids move out and I retire. I want when I see people and they just have that plethora of all the consoles. I want that where it's a wall of just all my different consoles. So that's why even the Wii U, I played Disney Infinity on there, a Smash game, still is a place in my heart.
And you're keeping your Switch One for like because you have just tons of kids, and so it'll get played, right?
That's super easy to be like, oh, one wants to, because I think I'm soon gonna put Minecraft on the Switch because Logan's been starting to dip her toes into it now. So I think that's a good way of like, hey, there's Switch 2, Switch 1. Now you can break off and play different things. Or even like if I got some for a review where it's okay, I need to play the Switch 2 for X, Y, and Z. Well, the Switch 1 still's a bunch of games.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why it's like another console right there. So yeah, it's the Switch 1 is staying home. So
Yeah, I'll probably sell my Switch One. I have less need for a second one. Then I don't know how much I can get for it. How much do you think I can get for a Switch One? 150? Is that too much to ask? 200?
How old is it? 150.
I mean, it's not the base model one. It is the one that has like the better battery, but it's just like it is just the standard version. It's not like the OLED or anything.
I think 150 is like the max. I think 100 is justified. But yeah, I think the peak is 150. Yeah.
Okay.
But you make sure you do it early on because I feel like longer Switch 2 is out, the more that the price goes down for you. So.
Yeah, but the thing is, like to transfer your save files, you need your Switch One.
Oh, I know.
So you have
I'm
to
just saying transfer and then do it right
yeah.
after. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm glad to hear you're playing more Outlaws. We'll talk about some more Star Wars stuff in a minute. I really just have one quick shout out here. So I've been playing just a ton more of the Oblivion remaster because that's just my pride and joy right there. Good time. Do you think you'll jump into that at any point? Yeah.
I put that after I heard
throw another 100-hour game on your list right there.
Yeah. I haven't listened to the full episode, but after I heard you and Taylor talk a little bit about it, I think what I'm trying to wait for, because who never knows when the next Elder Scrolls game come out, I'd like to dip my toes because I've never played that or I've never played Skyrim either. Those are white whales for me. I just never got around to that. So I did put it on the list because easy download.
Don't forget Morrowind, Travis. I know it's old and smelly, but come on.
But is that even on Games Pass?
I think it is. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so maybe I did see a lot of people when this was announced. A lot of people remind me of you saying like, "Oh, this is nice and all, but when's we get Morrowind?"
I know we're annoying. Us Morrowind heads are annoying. Okay, I get it.
So I feel like maybe that's a white whale, but I want that to happen. I want a remaster remake, so then it's like fine tuned for me. But
it could use one for sure.
Yeah, but how's your play going with it?
It's great. I'm just doing more of the same. It's just a gorgeous game. I'm kind of just going city to city and like seeing the glow up that each place has gotten because this game is so iconic for me in so many locations. So I'm just kind of breathing in, taking my time, not trying to rush through everything. And yeah, it's like I'm still discovering new things I never did before. That's just how much there is these games that like there's certain quests or areas or like a town I'd never been to before. I'm like, how is there just a town I've never heard of in this game? I know they didn't add this. It's always been in the game. I just never stumbled upon it. So that's been a good time. But this is a very quick shout out. But last week, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 came out, which is like the hottest, latest game on Game Pass and everything. And I've heard a lot of buzz about this game. I was looking forward to it, but I was also like, I don't know. This is like this team's first effort. It looks like a huge game, and it's like a 20-man team or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like this game could not end up like being as good as it looks. But then the reviews came out, and it's like the number 1 or number 2 like best reviewed game of the year. I think before Blueprints or after Blueprints, something like that. So, doing really good in that way. So I booted up, played through the first couple hours, and then my game. Well, what happened was I died to a like mini boss. And, in a very Dark Souls way, it's like you died or expedition failed or something like that. My character's bodies are lying on the ground. 30 seconds passes by. My body's lying on the ground. The camera is still just kind of quickly going back and forth.
Oh
A
no.
minute passes, 2 minutes pass, and I'm like, this game does not have permadeath, right? This is like a 50-hour RPG. There's no way this game has permadeath. I didn't like die like for final times, right? And then I look it up. No, that's not what happened. I was like, okay, I just want to confirm I'm not crazy. I'm cool. I'll close the game. It crashed, whatever. I boot up the game again, and it's just like erased my save. Like it
Oh
kept my save to
jeez.
the first like 10, 15 minutes, but then like erased everything after that. So it, and you know what the weirdest thing about this game's really cool, really great. You know, it seems like it has a lot of quality of life stuff. It does not have a manual save. It only has auto saves. And so like
That's
I couldn't even
annoying.
have made a save. It just had auto saves and then it deleted all of my ones
It's
from like this recent time.
2025, you know.
Really weird decision. And so, for a few days I was like, well, that seems like a really big thing to take a risk on a game like this. Like I might just wait
Yes.
for it to get a patch, get fixed up and then I'll come back to it. But then I kind of caved today because I was like, I really want to give this thing a shot. And you know what? Mostly what made that decision was I Googled like crazy the last few days, like, Xbox save issue, tried to Google every permutation of it. And I can't find a single other person who had this issue. So to me, I was like, okay, this seems like whatever this bug was incredibly rare. And like, other games recently like Stalker 2 or what was it, Metal Slug Tactics, when I was playing those games and they were super buggy and I was Googling the issues I was having and everyone was having those issues, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, these are known issues. This game's super buggy. This seemed like a bit of a one-off. So I'm taking the risk. If it happens again, I'm out. You've lost me at that point. But I could kind of blast through that first area again because I done it already once. So I was skipping the cutscenes and like I know how to do the combat now. So now I'm past where I was before, and it's going well. So I think I'm going to save that for next week when I've played a lot more because I just spent a few days not even touching it because I was scared that it was going to break on me again. But yeah, I'll share more about that next week. But yeah, I'm back in it, and hopefully it doesn't glitch out for me again because it's pretty cool so far. I will say the one thing I wanted to bring up with you, Travis, is the main character
Mm-hmm.
looks like Robert Pattinson to me. He's got like the bone facial structure. His beard, mustache a little bit different, and I didn't really see it until I was like in game. And I was like, this looks like Robert Pattinson. But you know what's even crazier? Voiced by Charlie Cox.
Oh,
Match made in
really?
heaven, right there. Hey.
Yeah, that's funny. I swear, I think I already saw someone do like a fan cast on one of my Twitter timelines for like that
Mm,
character of like looking similar. So
yeah,
that's funny.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Good. That's good to know.
And
Charlie
I
Cox
didn't
is in
catch
it.
it at first because he's using like I don't know if is he British or is he
He is.
French?
Yeah.
Like
No, he's
okay, yeah,
British.
'cause
Yeah.
he's using his British accent or like this game's like French theme, so maybe he's adding a bit of French flair in there. I don't really know,
Hmm.
but like I didn't recognize his voice instantly, and then I saw it. I was like, oh, that. I was like, why does this voice sounds familiar? Oh, it's because it's my boy. I just have only ever heard him doing an American accent, so
Yeah.
that was a fun connection there. And yeah, all the other voice acting is great as well. I don't know if I know any other people, but to get him for like the main character is a pretty cool. It's a good get for them for this small
Yeah.
team with their
For
first game.
sure.
Really really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, next week I will report back on that one. And how about we take our last break and then we'll get into a couple new games coming out. All right, we are back. So let's get right back to Star Wars here. So Star Wars Zero Company, which I think I talked to Taylor about, and I think I talked to you about it as well at some point on Sidequest.
Hmm.
Got a new trailer today. It's got like its Steam page and stuff, so there's a little more info out there. Not a lot, but a little bit. It's coming out 2026. Then yeah, so this trailer kind of had 90% of it was like CGI cutscenes setting up the story and the premise and the setting and I guess the timeline, which is important for Star Wars stuff. And then there was like 15 seconds of like little
Yeah.
gameplay bits and bops in there. So I don't know, what was your just general take of, I guess, like the little glimpses of gameplay we got, but then also I think I'm more curious, like how are you feeling about the story? Because I found the voiceover and the setup like very cheesy, and like it didn't seem like intentionally cheesy, so I didn't know if I was just reading that off. But how did you feel about it?
I thought it was fine. I think I kind of gave it some, like, obviously every teaser or first look should be like, oh wow. But at the same point, once you get the end of that trailer, it's at 2026. I was like, okay, unless it's very early in 2026, I'm like, okay, they got lots of time to sell this and come up with
Yeah,
a
they
bigger
did say
oomph.
pre-alpha gameplay in there
Yeah.
too, to be clear. So yeah,
Just feels like, okay, Star Wars Celebration's around the corner. They don't do Celebration every year. That's an every 2 year event. So it just felt like, hey,
okay,
what do we have we can show off? And even the Star Wars Eclipse was like, oh, we got stuff to show soon, but like they gave no time. So it's like, I don't think any Star Wars games are really ready to show anything. So I thought it was a fine trailer. I could see what you're saying about with the cheesiness. It didn't hit me too much, but also like it didn't I wasn't like revving to go. Yeah, I was disappointed by the lack of gameplay. Again, it's more just an announcement trailer. I'm not expecting a full thing, but a little bit more would have been nice. But I kind of like the setup as far as it's not exactly, but it sounds okay. It's Midnight Suns where you're a main character and you're doing a create a character. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. And then I
Hmm.
like that because we were talking about this before. Like, do you play as this? Do you play as heroes from the past? And we definitely know. We don't know how that works, but there's definitely characters from I think they were leaked images, right? Those images, like, were they leaked or released? Remember, they had actual Star Wars characters. They were like IP characters. Were like, oh, that's
Oh,
so and so, that's so and so.
my
So
brain. I don't even remember that, to be honest. Like,
I think it's a leak then. So I'll try to look, but
okay, okay.
I
Because
do
it's
like.
Clone Wars era, so I guess that gives us like a ton of potential of known characters, right?
Well, the tough thing was it showed some characters. I guess it could be. It showed some characters that were alive in the Clone Wars, but also alive in the Dark Times. So you never know where that could go. But
Okay.
I loved the idea of the squad being all different people. Like, you got a Jedi there, you got a sniper there, tactical person. I can't remember the other two, and then obviously your character's gonna be whatever.
These
you
guys
create.
are professionals. That was one of the quotes that stood out to me.
Yes, and then I agree. I was like, okay, but I kind of get they're going for. I feel like they're going for like a Reservoir Dog sort of. It's your squad. There's a show.
Bit of a Suicide Squad situation.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
There's a Star Wars show called Bad Batch that I'm not a fan of, but I kind of get what they were going for. But
Yeah.
so far, I like the setup and the small snippets of the gameplay. I was like, okay, this looks intriguing to me. Like, it looks kind of what I'm hoping for. I need a lot more to see about this, but yeah. So it's one of these things that just it mildly scratched the itch, but I'm still very excited for it, and I'm hoping it's a game that looks good as we see more, and I hope it reviews well. I think it's one that I'm pretty much just a day one, but I still will wait until like hopefully the reviews come out. And if the reviews are just brutal, that's where I go, okay, I'll if it's like a Suicide Squad situation, now that would be right, but usually comic games, those are day one for me. When that took that turn of the time, I'm like, okay, no, I'm not spending $80, and I'm glad I didn't because I got Suicide Squad for free like a couple months ago on like whatever PS Plus or whatever. So that's where this is a day one. If it's like, I think like even in the green 70s for me, because I think a Star Wars game in this genre could be lots of fun. So, but yeah, teaser's not the greatest, but I like the setup of you and the squad, and even the custom character kind of makes sense. So yeah.
Yeah, I think in terms of the quick gameplay snippets, it seems really really close to XCOM in terms of the inspiration for it. I'm curious what that means for like melee combat, because I feel like those kinds of games are more about like really positioning your guys between like different blocks and things like that, and it's more about like positioning. You got your guys on Overwatch who are up high above, but I feel like such a big part of Star Wars is like the melee combat when you're talking about like lightsabers and other things like that. And as you're talking about, like if we get like Jedi like characters, like I don't know, is there going to be force powers or things like that incorporated in the moveset, which feels like kind of like a Midnight Sunsy sort of thing of like pushing units around. So I'm curious to see if there is like a hook to this game other than it's like this is a tactics game that is based on Star Wars, because I mean that is a hook enough for a lot of people, but for me who's played like a ton of games in this genre, I'm looking for something different. And I feel like Midnight Suns, even if I wasn't a big Marvel fan, I think I probably still would have bought that game because it just had a really weird, interesting new mechanic with it, whether it was like introducing the card stuff or the really movement based stuff, the combo attacks, things like this. And then like, the stuff outside of just the combat itself with the Abbey and building out your characters and upgrading and whatnot. And so I'm sure this game will have all sorts of things like that too, but I wonder if it does have like a special something to it. Because if it does, I could see myself picking it up. I do love this genre. And I think as much as I kind of, I'm not a big Star Wars fan right now, I obviously loved Outlaws, and I think it's such a great, there's so much potential in that world, and it's such a fun imagery, and there's so many iconic weapons and characters and freaks. I love those freaks, so I feel like it could have a lot of potential for that. One thing I was going to ask you, there's a little red droid who's like in the ship with them, goes out onto the field, and like I can't really tell if that's like a play. Do you think you can play as like this R2D2 droid, or is that more like a support sort of thing just on the side that you don't control? Because I would love to have weird little droids and stuff like that be like part of the team.
I don't think so. I think if it's on the team at all, it's like an attack for one of the characters. Like it's like, okay, literally just droid attack.
It looked like it was taking up like a spot on the map, but I don't know if that was just visual.
I guess it's just weird because they were talking about the squad, right? And it was like the 4 people and then your custom characters. So I feel like, does that mean then it would be, well, the robot? That's what I don't know, because I'm looking at the poster. the robot is on the poster, but then it's
He
like
is, yeah.
the created character in the middle, and then you have like the 4 people behind you. So I don't know if that would be something they're hiding. I'm just gonna say no, just because I feel like they said it's the 4 squad and you, but maybe the robot is not like he's on the squad, but not. I don't know. I'm conflicted. So if gun to my head, I'm gonna say you don't control the droid separately.
Okay. I'll say gun to my head. I hope they do.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I hope
not
they
not
do.
even a
Maybe-
prediction, but yeah, I'd love to see that.
Because I feel like that's because like I'm just looking again because yeah, you got the Jedi, then you got this like bounty hunter esque character that's like long hair, and then you got whoever your custom character is, and then you got like a clone looking person. But it's like you have. Well, I don't know. I'm just curious the type. So I'm actually wrong. You have your custom character. You have a Jedi. You have a clone trooper type of person. You have like a Mandalorian bounty hunter, and then you have some lady that has like a tank on her head. But that just is, to me would be like another bounty hunter. So to me, like that was like the sniper. But I'd have to see. But if you were to ask me, I would obviously kick out the trooper. I would never, because Taylor loves his clone trooper, so of course not. But I would want to have the droid on the team more than maybe just another gun character, you know? Because again, if you're
maybe like hacks into things or like controls
Yeah.
like equipment or something.
and I'm assuming with your custom character, you can probably make them a Jedi, right? You think, or do you think it's just they don't want it to be OP and they're gonna like just have the one Jedi on your team? Because that might make sense. As much as I'm thinking like, oh, I'm gonna make a Jedi, they might not want to have 2 on there. So.
For me, like a fun part of this genre has always been like, ooh, going into each map, it's exciting. Like, who am I going to put on my team this time? Whether it is something small like Minute Suns where you only get 3, and it's like, okay, am I going to do like people who have good synergy, or am I just going to do like a fun lore matchup,
Yeah.
or am I going to make like the weirdest matchup just to, like have fun with it? And then something like Fire Emblem, it's like, oh, you get like 10 to 12 people on a map, but it's still fun to like pick and choose. Like, okay, I kind of need these 3 guys. I need like at least one support, at least a couple tanky people, and that kind of like that strategy outside of like the actual when you're turn to turn in the game, that kind of thing. And so hopefully there's like some of that as well, even if you have your main crew. Like hopefully you are still recruiting people, because that's what keeps these games fresh and new for like a 30-40 hour play time, unless it's just a shorter little 12-hour romp with your crew. And that's fine too, but also I don't know if I'd spend $80 for that.
I was gonna
We'll
say
wait and see.
price accordingly then if it's a 12-hour romp, in my opinion.
Give me a $30 12-hour
Yeah.
romp.
Even
Start rolling.
$40 if it's well made. Okay, I can see that, but yeah.
And I mean, maybe that's like, maybe there's different campaigns or something like that. We're talking about how like there's talking about those leaked characters. Like maybe, like I feel like in the first
I couldn't
Ultimate
find
Alliance,
it.
couldn't you go into like those bonus worlds or something like that, where it's like you would just go onto like a side mission or something like that. So maybe there's something like that as well, where you can just like, here's a mission with like known characters, and that's kind of like a fun offshoot, but like they don't have a full RPG system like built around them, and it's a little more simple. That could be fine too, but I don't know how you mesh that well.
Yeah, no, I was just again, maybe they weren't leaked. I swear, I thought there was a, because even then, well, I don't know. I'm gonna bring up this image here because this is what's confusing to me when you're talking about the droids here. If you bring this up, if you look and you wince there is in.
Oh
this,
yeah, I remember this image. I remember
Yes.
this image now.
Can I make this? Okay, go away, ad. I get it.
Oh
Exactly
my
what
god!
you need.
I do see the droid is definitely one of the player
Right?
cards there. Yeah.
And Bo-Katan, that is a person that's in the Clone Wars. She's a Mandalorian. So
Okay.
maybe they just mean it's always your squad of 4, but you're the custom character. But because the poster's a little deceiving, right?
And you
'Cause
have to carry. Yeah, that's kind of like in Fire Emblem. Like you always have to bring your lord in the mission. Then you can like
Yeah.
pick your 9 or 10 characters, whatever.
or like even when you're playing, I think almost all story missions in Midnight Suns, Hunter's always there, right? It's when you play the free side
Right,
missions, you can be like,
right.
oh, I don't need Hunter. But when you're playing main story,
Yeah.
so I think, you know what? I think you might have some luck here. I think the droid's back in play. And that to me is way more fun than, I like the idea of the squad. Like I was completely fine with that. But if it is, okay, it's always you and then 4 others, and there's a selection of legends and new characters and droids, that is a lot more tempting and exciting. So, okay, a droid
Cool.
back on the menu.
Back on the menu. Which, yeah, I mean, I guess I'm trying to calculate the math on that. I don't know if it's like always at 4 characters on the map, or if it changes at different points too. I feel like for balance, it's easier to make a game where you have like a set amount of characters on the board, but who knows?
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see what's going on there. By the way, when Fire Emblem Path of Radiance comes to GameCube, You should check that out. That should be your first time checking out a GameCube game, or sorry, not a GameCube game, a Fire Emblem game.
Whoa, yeah, I'd be down. I've never dipped my.
That's
toes
a really
in there,
great
so.
entry in the series. Has
Remind me when it comes to
game.
GameCube, and I will, because it's just a download away. So I'm looking for a way in, and that could be it. So
could be your way in. Let's see if this will be your way out. Ghost of Yotei, finally coming out October 2nd. We got a new trailer, mostly story trailer, but there's a little bit of gameplay in there. And then, on PlayStation Blog, they had a little bit more info in there as well. Pretty much the story setup of this game is that you are playing Atsu, who's this character who, 15 years, 16 years prior to the present time, her village was killed, and like all of her family and friends, and they tried to kill her too, but then she survived. And so it turns into a revenge story where you are playing as Atsu and you're going to go take out these, I think it's like 5 or 6, maybe even 7 people who did this. And they all kind of have like, oh, this is the dragon. This is the monkey.
It's Kill Bill.
This is the whatever.
It's Kill Bill.
Very similar setup there. Yeah. And I think that's kind of one of the things they're highlighting here is that this game is going to be a little bit more non-linear than the first Ghost game was, in that those 6 or 7 guys, or maybe it'll like slowly unfold. Maybe it'll be like 3 at first, but these guys are out on the map somewhere, and you can go tackle them on whatever order you want. And I don't know if that's gonna be like a bit of a Mega Man way, where it's like, oh, when you kill the dragon, you get this certain ability, and that's really good at killing the the lizard or whatever, and like kind of strategize out that way. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it seems like it's opening up a bit more, which is funny to me because obviously this game is, not influenced by Assassin's Creed Shadows because of the release dates of these games, but that's like exactly how Shadows works. It's like you get set up, same situation, revenge story. Here, like the 8 or 9 people that are part of the ring that like are responsible for this, and you can go take them out in whatever order. But then, obviously there's like 2 or 3 of them that make sense to do first, and then it kind of unfurls from there. So, I'm curious to see, like, I don't, obviously there's still a million other things about this game that are interesting, but in terms of that main premise and the more open style, it's like, well, maybe Shadows, even though the first Ghost ate Shadows' lunch, like maybe their lunch is going to get eaten right back. So I don't know. I'm curious to see if that has any effect, but that was the first thing that stood out to me. But yeah, anything else about this, or I don't know, there's not a ton of gameplay here, but did this get you more or less, or are you kind of same level hype right now?
I'm a little more from both of those, because I'd heard, and now I understood, because at first I saw reports of like, oh, Ghost's gonna be non-linear, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting, but now I kind of see what it means. Like the headline I saw was almost like it was like a Pulp Fiction wave, like you're gonna play the story at different points, but then as more came out and what you're saying is like, okay, makes sense. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I think with Jin's story, for the most part, it felt like it was pretty from point A to point B. You could do a few things differently, but it felt like it was there. Yeah, I don't know where I am with this game. I feel like I'm gonna say, oh, like I will still, I'll likely get it. I think if it's something or it comes out in October and I'm very busy, it might be a skip. But I guess it's just, I don't know why. And obviously it's a weird thing to reference because you had the feeling after the fact, but I feel like I just worry this is going to be like how Miles to Spider-Man was for you, where I don't know if I'm in the mindset of like needing Ghost. I thought I was, but I just like, I haven't been like, oh, I really need to play Ghost. Like I still love that game. And I don't know if that's something to do with, I would love to live in the multiverse where this game's out, but it is more of Jin's story. I know they want to do it in a different era, but for me, it's like, I don't want PlayStation to do their Assassin's Creed where, hey, every 5 years you're going to Ghost game and it's a new, it's like, no, I really liked Jin, and I would like to, I think there's some stuff that was, I'd like fleshed out even more. And there's nothing about this character I'm disliking. And this got me more excited for the plot. Cause like I said, it's Kill Bill, it's many revenge tales, but I like that of character gets wronged and they got a list. And I like the idea of what you're telling me of it, being non-linear. So I think I'll wait till closer to see how life is. I think I'll still likely say this because a couple weeks ago I said, hey, I know I'm playing Donkey Kong, and I got that. So that was a whole pretty much $1,000 purchase. This nowhere near that camp. So if I just hear it's good and you guys are getting it, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll throw it down. But I'm still not like with Death Stranding 2, that like I'm ready to go. I could play that game today and be like, I can't wait. Also a bit different because that's a top 10 game for me, but Ghost I love, and I haven't got there yet. Maybe I'm hoping there's gonna be a great PlayStation showcase with just showing new attacks, new this, new that, anything. Even if they confirm, like I'd love it if Legends was confirmed day one. That's something too. If like, yeah. If
that's to me that was the selling point as well. Like that would, for right now, I'm kind of on the fence like you are. But if Legends was a day one, or even I guess when Legends comes out, that would be a thing. I mean, I feel like to me that seems like a perfect place to throw Jin as a playable character. And you get him back in there, and then people can kind of relive that hype of like playing him, and you can even bring back the iconic characters from the first game, and just say it's like it's just a legend, right? Kind of like how it was kind of set up in the first game, right? It's
We
a
don't
little
need
bit
it to
more
be
fantastical, a little bit
yeah.
more crazy, less realistic.
It's people telling stories and like, oh, there's this guy named Jin, and they throw him in the store. Like it just that's how when we did our review way back day of Sidequest. Like that's why I love like that's why it's called Legends. It's just made up stories. Like you don't need to worry about Ken. Oh, does Jin fit in this time era? It doesn't matter. That's one thing I will say too, because a lot of the masks, like obviously there's masks all over. The masks trailer remind me of all the very cool masks in Legends. Because in the
Yeah.
base game there's cool masks, but it felt like in Legends they saved like the coolest masks. So that's the thing where no matter what, at some point I'm owning this game. So that's something where if they were to say Legends was day one, my hype would be through the roof. But I think I'll still likely get this because unless there's a general just kind of meh feeling about it, it still looks absolutely gorgeous. It's one of these things that you just see stuff and I'm hoping that it will kind of, like I said, win me over once we get to some more gameplay. Because even then, like going back in the day, I remember all of us when the first game got revealed, we were all like, "Oh, this looks beautiful." But how's it gonna play? How's this? So even the first Ghost game, I was like iffy on it, and as we got closer, I got excited. So I'm hoping the same is gonna be here. So I'll say it did help a little bit because I like that good story. Group of bad guys got to take them down, and now you can go whichever. Because I think that'll be fun when we review it, or whoever reviews it. But I'm assuming we're gonna be on the review because we'll talk about the paths we took to get to X, Y, and Z, right? Because I don't think you, me, and Kirkland. I'm sure there might be some crossover, but with there being 6 to 7 different bad guys to take down, I think we'll have different paths we want to go to. So I think that's very fun. And I hope, like you were saying, they actually utilize that. And it's not just, okay, you kill them, you move on, kill them, move on. It's like, oh, even if some bosses or some area should be harder because, oh, you can still complete this, but it would have been easier if you beat boss 2 before you got to boss 6, or vice versa. Or maybe there's one area that's just like you completely just destroy because you go, oh, you have almost everything, and we kind of thought this was going to be a lower tier level, and you're just going through. So, that's again more curious on stuff maybe showing off down the line because I know we're going to get whether it's a showcase or state of play. There's going to be a whole thing dedicated to that, and I'll be watching that with keen interest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as you mentioned, like I've kind of been in a bit of a PlayStation sequel-itis recently, where like Horizon sequel, like I didn't really do it for me.
Right, yeah. I forgot that for us. That's another one where I was like, I've been through this before of loving a first game and then
and that happened with Miles, but then I think most damningly, like that happened to me with the Ghost of Tsushima DLC. The Legends was great, but Iki Island, oh my god, this just didn't have the sauce. I don't even know if I needed to play this. I don't have like a single memory from that DLC at this point. Yeah. It just like didn't move the needle at all for me. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Legends part of it, but I think what I'm excited for is this marketing campaign to like put it into second gear here, because so far we've had like that first trailer, which pretty much just confirmed that like we weren't playing as Jin, and like it showed off like a gun, which isn't even really shown in this trailer anymore, which I was
felt like
about.
I felt like
they maybe pulled back on that.
Yeah, because I feel like there was a lot of people that was like, not my Ghost of Tsushima, and that I think they're like, okay, say that.
Seems like a pretty major change, because I feel like that would be pretty implementing the mechanics, but I don't know. Maybe it's an optional weapon, but
no, I think it'll still be in the game. I think the showing it off is what I mean. As far as like, hey, people didn't like that. Even if it isn't the game a lot, just don't put it too much in the previews. And what they could do is wait till the showcase to actually make it look good.
Make it look amazing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were, because that's not what I played Ghost of Tsushima for. I don't want any guns. Like Kirkland was saying, it's like that's not a fulfillment I have. There's so many games with guns. It's like I don't. That's not something I'm like, guess what these ninjas can do now.
Yeah, not enough games with swords. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, there is a lot, but I feel like the games I play, maybe this is Call of Duty, but like even then, I'm playing Call of Duty. Last game I played was Alan Wake, Indiana Jones, which was whip and gun, Outlaws, like all these are gun.
Banjo-Kazooie uses
Kazooie's a gun.
I'm curious to see what, because as you mentioned, like I remember that happened for Ghost. We were all still on the edge, even till like a month or two before it came out, and then they did like that 15-minute deep dive, and we were like, hell yeah, and bought that game, picked it up, and loved it. So I'm sure that that'll be the case here to show off some of the new stuff. In terms of the new mechanics they showed off here, like at one point, Atsu was using like a spear, also had like this kind of almost like Kratos like chain combo axe thing, which seems really fun. So those, because I think you only ever use swords and bows in the first game, right?
And your darts.
and your darts, but like I don't.
Yeah.
There was never like a spear, right? Even in like Legends, I
No,
don't think there
and
was
I
a
can't
spear
remember
weapon.
what that has a technical name. That chain ball thing, and like I don't know
Yeah.
what it is, but that's
So
when I saw. I was like, okay, that's cool.
on top of guns, like other things as well.
Mhm.
Um, the they showed another thing which I don't know if I care too much about, but like they showed like, oh, you can you can visit what your mind was like 15 years ago when these events happen. You like click a button and then you like turn into kid version of Atsu, and then like I guess I don't know if the environment looks the same or maybe a little bit different. And then like
Yeah.
I guess that I'm presuming it's only for like certain areas where you have a memory of this place. Like, oh, I used to come here with
When
my
I was a
grandfather.
child.
Yeah, and we'd
Exactly.
come hang out in the hot springs and he'd tell me tales, it'd be that kind of
There used
thing.
to be
So
meat on this menu right over here.
exactly. So, I don't care about that. Like I don't need that in
No.
the game, but I'm sure it'll be good for story reasons, but like as a mechanic it doesn't excite me that much. The one that they mention, I don't even think it's in the trailer. I think it's just on the blog post, is they mention you can like build a camp at some point. So I don't know if
Oh
that's like at any
no.
point in the open world you can like set up a camp. And like because a lot of games have been doing this lately, like Baldur's Gate or Avowed, but it's like rather than it being a thing that you just anywhere I want, I can set up like a little camp and get going there. It's like okay, if you're in this area of the map, it'll set up the camp in this one specific place, and it always kind of looks the same. And you like talk to your people there, do your upgrades and stuff. So I don't know if it's something that's a little more integrated into the beautiful world. I think that could be fun of like finding a cool place to like set up camp. I don't know if that means you're gonna have people like with you because at one point they do show like you and like 4 or 5 people like sieging into a camp. So I don't know if there's a bit like obviously there were points like that in the first game where you had like people were multiple people sieging a certain base, but it was never like a co-op single player kind of experience like that, right? So I don't know if that's a thing where you're building out a team and you have people there
Maybe
with
they
you.
found a way to legally rip off the what is that system from Shadow Mordor? What is that one we always talk about?
The Nemesis system.
Yeah, maybe there's a way they legally found a way to rip it off and change just X, Y, and Z, and you can
Maybe.
recruit people. I doubt it, but one can hope.
Yeah, I mean, well, that was the thing with the Wonder Woman, right? It was like you were going to recruit allies in
That's
a cool
my
way.
thing. Yeah, maybe they're like, well, this is the friendly system, and
The friendly system.
I just hope if there's camp building, that's not a big thing because we talk about back to Bethesda like in Fallout or something like in Starfield. Never my cup of tea. I like specific games for that. I don't want it in my game. So as long if it's something
I literally just want to climb to the top of a beautiful hill and put a tent down and a campfire. Like that's what I want. I don't want to build a huge base on a grid or anything. I literally just want like to like have a backpack and I can like unfold it and like at the end of a cool day I can like put it down there and like chill for a bit. Just because the game is so beautiful, I just want to breathe in the vibes sometimes.
And that's exactly what I love. But that's what happens in Red Dead. You just have your horse, you throw down, there's fire, your tent.
Right.
That's where
there you go. I just want that. Copy Red Dead. Yeah.
Maybe like one of those wheel that sharpen knives. Like sure, give me that. Like I don't know what those things are called either, but I'll take a weapon sharpener. But nice and simple, stupid. Or same thing. Like even if you want to do like a mechanic, like Breath of the Wild with some cooking, sure. But like I don't need to be like there's the bathroom over there and there's like no. Just it's too much. So.
Yeah, and funny enough, once again, Assassin's Creed Shadows had like a full base building thing in it where you can actually you gather resources throughout the game. You're putting down buildings, arranging them in certain ways in like a roller coaster tycoon sort of way. So once again, a couple things there that like it makes sense. Shadows could look at what Ghost of Tsushima did and take some of those lessons and then like add new things on top of it. And obviously Yotei's not getting that opportunity because of the release dates of these things. I mean, maybe in small ways or something like that. So I'm curious to see how that goes. But yeah, I don't know. It sounds like we're both still on the fence, but I don't know. I feel like I could very easily be. I'm ready to fall off that fence, like Humpty Dumpty on the wall. Like I'm ready to go. I'm ready to break that egg. So just needs a couple pushes.
Because right now, I don't think there's anything really else in October. I know there will be, of course, right? But I'm just trying to
I think there's just a lot of things we just like GTA, Metroid Prime. Like we just don't know a lot of release dates at this point. And I feel like the fall is really. When I was looking at like a calendar recently, there isn't those release dates yet. I think Summer Game Fest will give us those things, right?
Yeah, well, because like I can't remember who it came from, but it came from a reputable source that legitimately companies are holding back because of GTA. They legitimately they don't want to be near that window, sense. And that's where I asked you in the Discord. You're the one that has it. Do you feel good about that date? Because October, still early enough that good spot, but still close enough where like one delay and that possibly that's a 2026 game. And I just feel like I wonder if insiders they get wind of like, hey, GTA is coming out soon. If Sony goes, you know what, let's let's not even risk it. Let's just put this in the spring of next year, polish it off. Like I think it's gonna come out, but I still think it's
Don't
like
you want to come out before GTA though?
yes, but you could also have people being like, I'm gonna save my money for probably the $100 game, right? Everyone's like, most insiders are predicting that GTA is going to be legitimately $100, which means like 120, 130 for us. So
Yeah.
I could see a lot of people that if they're like us that are Humpty Dumpty and they know, hey, in a month of November I got to spend $100 plus on Grand Theft Auto. I'm not going to buy this game right now because of
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
That's the tough thing. If like
If
it all depends,
Legends is
so.
incorporated, I could see them being like, okay, with GTA Online getting whatever that update looks like for GTA 6, I feel like maybe they want to get people playing that before GTA 6. If you try and release that after, maybe it just tanks. So, yeah, it's tricky no matter what. But I think it may. I think I think Sony rather kind of needs to, because like they don't. To what we know right now, they don't have anything else
Do
releasing.
they though?
Really, right?
Remember though, it's like the consoles still just sell. Like remember, it had 2 years of no games really that are exclusive. Like no Spider-Man.
I don't
no
think
God of
that's
War.
true though. I think when you look back, like there was still, like, even last year was like, oh, nothing came out, but it like still had Final Fantasy 7 2. It had Astro Bot, which won game of the year. Had like smaller things like Stellar Blade, Rise of the Ronin, and then other things I'm forgetting. But like
Yeah.
it had the game of the year winner just ran like still there. It still had like a really great release calendar of games. It just didn't have like a Naughty Dog game or like a Sony Santa Monica game. But I feel like they still do need to be putting things out there.
I think they do, but I don't know. I think for me, it's
Because
just those
there's
first.
people maybe who don't have PS5 yet who would like get it for Ghost. I feel like there are those fans for this series
There's
now.
definitely some, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I just feel like for me, my brain broke when it was the first 2 years of nothing but like PS4, PS5 crossover games, and that thing still sold like hell hotcakes. Like I think
Yeah.
it will help, but I don't think it. Here's the thing: I don't think they will risk putting the game out if they feel like unease about it. I think they'll go, we'll eat the summer because they might even have the idea of like GTA's out and also because they're gonna be making money off GTA too. Don't get us wrong, right? Like they're gonna like make like just money that way, and they might just feel that hey, Switch is gonna have the fall season right now, winter.
Mhm.
So we'll see. I'm a 65 for it staying on that
Okay.
date. I think if a GTA happens, I do think they will move just for the fact of just to have a wider window of success because GTA is
Yeah.
going to be
Okay.
a big black hole. But GTA could also
If-
not get the date.
If GTA
so.
comes out in November, like I'll say anytime after October, I think they'll keep the date. So I'll stay more 90 because I do think GTA would be a November 11th ish release, like that
I think
early
so,
November
too.
slot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be a little more confident that it's gonna in fact come out. So yeah. Any other thoughts on this Ghosts here for the day?
No, just waiting. Obviously, we probably won't get that state of play for a while because I'm sure Death Stranding 2 is next, and that this is if it stays to the date October. So maybe there's even some of that Summer Games Fest. So I'll be interested to see once we get more. And like I said, my wish prediction is probably won't happen, but I would love them to have Legends day one. That would be fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm
that'd be
ready to
cool.
jump back in. I'm ready to go on some missions to see what new they could do. I will be actively. I don't think they would not do it, but I would be actively disappointed if that is not a thing in this game. I know it's a lot to ask because they never said it was a thing in the first one. They just kind of, I won't say shadow dropped it, but in a way of like, hey, we're working on this
Kind of
thing.
did,
and
yeah.
yeah. So to me, if that's what I want someone to ask. And if it comes out of presser, like, oh yeah, we just didn't feel like doing it this time or for whatever reason, I will be, that's something that I could be like, okay, maybe I won't buy it now if I'm uneasy on the game and there's no Legends, because Legends for me is a game. Even if I didn't even touch the Ghost story, which I will, but Legends alone, you and me have said this, they could sell that as a separate game, and I would buy that because that was
Yeah, me
tons of
too.
fun. So hope that we just get confirmation on that before the next few months. That's what I'd like. So
Yeah. Me as well. Okay, thank you for joining me. This was a super fun episode. Next week, I think I'll be back with Kirkland Patzer to catch up with him on all sorts of video game stuff. So thank you.
bug him about Death
Join me?
Stranding. Get him be back finishing Death Stranding. He started, and of course, go.
He was
No.
really, really far in the last time I talked to him about it. So I think
Okay,
he's on the
good.
cusp.
Good.
He's on the cusp.
Good.
Thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.